Hello everyone and welcome back to the good stuff. We are continuing our 1858 clash between Paul Charles Morphy and Henry Edward Bird in London, and this is game 3, not game 3 of the actual match, but game 3 that we're showing. And if you're just joining the show, or if you've just joined the channel, you might think, why is Morphy already third game in a row white? Well, the problem is it's not like if you were challenger you get white in every game. It's because not all games of this encounter were recorded, so we only have a few games. I'm not going to mention how much because I might spoil the result, but so far we've shown two. Morphy has won both of them, and this is only the third game that we're showing, so that's why for the third time in a row Morphy has the white pieces. But without further ado, let's check out what happens in this game. So Morphy again opens with e4 as he usually does. We have e5 by Bird, and now comes f4. Morphy goes for the king's gambit, and yeah, sorry about that, too loud. We have f4 and e captures on f4. Bird accepts the king's gambit. So not the queen's gambit that everyone's talking about these days. This is the king's gambit. We have knight to f3 and now g5. Seems a bit weird playing your pawn like this already on the third move, but this is actually the strongest reply by black, and it is played even today in 2020 against the king's gambit if black accepts such a challenge. So here we have h4, immediately threatening to capture on g5, and now g4, and here knight to e5, now with a double attack on the g4 pawn. There are some lines of the king's gambit where you can sacrifice this knight, but it's not one of them. For example, if bishop to c4 and you give up the knight, yes, you have a lot of development. You can play d4 castles, maybe capture on f4, but it's actually very easy for black to play. Let's say just knight c6 captures, threatening checkmate, and just queen to f6, and black is perfectly fine. White doesn't really have anything to show for here, and you have to be extra careful because if you capture on c7, this just traps white's queen and it's game over. So although you can sacrifice the knight, there are some lines, not for real, only for fun, you know, for to play with your friends at the bar in the library, but this is not one of them. So knight e5 and now knight to f6. Bird continues developing, showing that he knows the theory of the king's gambit. Bishop to c4, now threatening on f7, and now the absolute best reply, d5, giving back one pawn and opening up the light square bishop. So if you capture with the bishop, black is very happy to take away your light square bishop. So here we have e captures on d5 by Morphy, and now bishop to d6, blocking the pawn, attacking this knight, and saying you don't really have anything here. So here we have d4 by Morphy, defending the knight, and now well, white would really enjoy capturing this f4 pawn, so here Bird defends it with knight to h5. Morphy continues development with knight to c3, and now comes bishop to f5. There is the possibility of just going castles, but it's seems very odd since your king side is shattered like this, but white king is still in the center of the board, so it wouldn't be all that bad. But okay, he went for bishop to f5 instead, and now comes knight to e2. Here, Morphy misses a great opportunity to play, you know, very well, creatively with bishop captures on f4, but he probably thought that he would get the same amount of play with the move he played. Probably didn't play it for that reason. But here, if you accept the bishop, then just castles, and black is completely busted. You will give back the piece, and black king is still in the center. It's just going to be very hard. For example, even with the best possible defense, f6 attacking the knight here, you still get bishop to b5 check. Bishop back to d7, now saving one of those pieces, and now after captures here, you're gonna capture back, capture back with the knight, and now after knight captures on d7, you're gonna go queen captures on g4, and you're gonna have a really awesome position as rook a to d1, rook a to e1 is coming, and after you move the king or something like that, let's say you give back some material, you get this position where you have two rooks and a knight against a rook, a knight, and bishop. And even though black is up material, black will not survive this. The rook is coming into the game, and well, this rook will most likely never see the light of day. It will be a very quick victory for white. So instead, after this bishop to f5 move, this was a possibility. Morphy now prepares it with knight to e2 first, and now comes the bishop captures on e5, and it is as of move 10 that this position has never been repeated again. We have D captures on E5 by Morphy, and now F3. So Bird is on the attack, and he doesn't care. He gave Morphy a very strong center. He's on the attack, and well, it doesn't seem like Morphy has all that much to do. However, G captures on F3. We have G captures on F3, and now Morphy plays the absolute best bishop to G5, saying I don't mind anything. And you have to, well, you have to try a lot of things. For example, if you just capture here, then queen captures, and you really don't mind that you've given up this piece here, because you're gonna win it back after this is attended to. The queen has to move or play something, but then you're gonna recapture, and you're just gonna be in a much better position. Another thing you could do, although it doesn't do all that much here after this f6 idea, sorry, after bishop to g5, is maybe you have some play here with f2 check, but after king captures, there's just no good continuation here. So not really, not much you can do. Queen to d7 is one option, but then you get knight d4, attacking the bishop here, attacking the pawn, then you're gonna go after the knight. e6 is always an option, so there are a lot of options here. However, Bird didn't really learn a lot from his previous game, where we said that f6 was a terrible mistake, and he plays f6 again. And here it's not so bad as in the previous game, but Morphy just continues with e captures on f6. And now, again, it's very difficult for black to find the move. Here f2 is again a possibility, but you have no continuation. If you capture on e2, that is once again possible, but after queen captures, this comes with check now. You don't really have a good place to go, because f7 check will at some point attack the queen. If you go to f8, not really a lot for you to do. Bishop h6 check, queen captures on h5 is coming, and if king to d7, then we get the exquisite bishop to d3. And now there's really no move for black to play, because you either move the bishop and you get queen here, or you capture and then you get, well, just queen to e6 with checkmate again. And even if you don't capture, what are you going to play? If rook e8, seemingly winning white's queen, then you have bishop captures on f5 with check, and once the king moves, you're just going to block the rook's attack of the queen, and now black has a king on d6. It's just all over. So after e captures on f6, we have queen to d6 by Bird, not allowing this check to come with an attack on the queen. However, Morphy goes for queen to d4 now. Now this check comes with queen captures on h8, so that's always an option. And here Bird really doesn't have all that many good moves. He plays captures on e2, but now Morphy doesn't rush into f7 check and picking up the rook, but rather he just calmly grabs the pawn with bishop captures, and he says, okay, I'm now threatening to capture your knight with check, and also this is still happening, so what are you going to play here? We have queen to g3 check, now looking for some counterplay here, but queen to d2 by Morphy. And here we have castle. So it seems like white really has something here, and you could go for bishop captures on h5. Of course, that's an option, but there's an even better move, one which ends the game on the spot. So feel free to pause the video here and try to find such a move while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on picking up either rook, and for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it's rook 8 to g1, or rook h to g1 for that matter. It's all the same, because the queen is under attack and you don't have a move. Or rather, once you move the queen somewhere, let's say queen d6 seems to be the only square, now a nice discovery wins the game. Pretty much anything wins the game. f7 check wins the game, you can capture on h5 wins the game, but the most straightforward is just bishop to f4, picks up the queen, and that's over. Your king is under attack and you don't have anything to do. Once this happens, black loses the queen and it's all over. So yeah, after this rook 8 to g1, Bird resigned, and we now have, of the 3 games we've shown, Morphy is now leading the match 3-0, and it seems like this is Staunton's weakest minion, but you know, Henry Edward Bird was actually an amazing player, and he played some brilliant games, and we will show a few of them, maybe even after his match against Morphy, just so you don't think that he was like a pushover or anything. But yeah, I mean, when you face Morphy, and now Morphy has played already a lot of players, a lot of games, and he's now much more into it, and it will be harder and harder to play against him. So it might have been better for Staunton to accept his challenge right away rather than to allow him to, get used to playing here, overseas. But yeah, that's why you resign here, 3-0 in Morphy's favor. And next game that we show, Morphy will have the black pieces, so he's not going to be white in all games. Don't worry. But yeah, that's the game. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank two mystery people for a contribution to my channel: Mark Kaywood, Crafteva, and Joseph O'Regan for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check two of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Continuing the coverage of the Morphy saga, checking up on your wonderful suggestions, which are always more than welcome. You see under the board, there's use hashtag suggestion when suggesting a game for me to analyze, and everything else that happens in the chess world, of course. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.